or rehabilitation. Using prison to rehabilitate is like applying an ice pack to fix a broken bone. Each remedy corrects only the symptoms, but once it is taken away, the problem is still there. Just like how weeds must be taken out by their root, crime must be destroyed by finding its underlying causes. And that is something a prison doesn't do. Prisoners need a place to work on their mental illness, behavior, education, and drug and alcohol abuse. Then will they return to society better than before. But when being put behind bars and forced to do manual labor for years, they are left with a lack of life skills, PTSD, and society gets to evolve and they don't. This then causes the government to perpetuate the problem instead of deal with it, which is why prisons should be reformed to focus on education and rehabilitation rather than imprisonment and punishment. Here to back me up, I have a couple slides for the plans of prison reform that are presented by COMPAS, which is also known as COMPAS. COMPAS is the Correctional Offender Management Profiling for Alternative Sanctions. In this slideshow, I will provide background information of the state's in-prison rehabilitation programs, outlining key principles, like recommendations for lessons that can be taught to reduce recidivism, acknowledge the top 5 rehabilitative needs, along with the top 8 significant risk factors. This right here is a 100% pie chart, broken up into sections of what should be taught in rehabilitation centers. It includes academic education, cognitive behavioral therapy, career technical education, employment preparation, substance use disorder treatment. These are the top 5 rehabilitative needs identified by COMPAS. They include substance use disorder treatment, anger management, critical thinking, employment services, and family support. Here are the 8 significant criminal risk factors. They include antisocial behavior, antisocial personality, criminal thinking, antisocial relationships, family and marital status, school and network status, leisure and recreational activities, and substance use. Research shows that rehabilitation programs can be designed to address these factors. For example, substance use disorder treatment programs can help reduce or eliminate the criminal risk resulting from an offender's problems with alcohol and/or other drugs, which at the end of the day will reduce recidivism. To elaborate, a recidivist is a person who has been to jail or prison, has been released, and then has gone back. In many cases, this is also called reoffense. In the past 5 decades, the American criminal justice system has relied exclusively on punishment to reduce reoffense rates. And I guess nothing has worked within those 5 decades because, according to Richard E. Edwards from Scholarly Journal, America's reoffense rate is 70%. This means that 70% of offenders will be rearrested within 5 years of their release, most likely rearrested on an even worse crime than the first. So it's about time we start to ask ourselves, what is the true aim of our prison system? It isn't to make a safer community because once prisoners are released, they can commit more heinous crimes. It isn't to have the prisoner's best interest at heart because the environment of these prison systems are dehumanizing. And it most certainly isn't to save anyone money because the cost of in the making of these prison systems are coming out of our taxes. The author of Bureau of Prisons, Sarah Karishi, announces that the cost of making these prison systems are coming out of our taxes. She also makes it clear that on average, the cost of housing an inmate costs $31,977.65 a year and rising. That's approximately $87.61 a day. It is important to realize that nobody else is paying for that except the citizens of America. Once inmates finish their time and are more than likely to go back, that is an even bigger waste on citizens' tax money. Instead, with rehab and professional therapy, the chances of a prisoner committing another crime significantly decreases, ensuring the safety we all hope to acquire and the money we all hope to keep. Comparing a cost of $32,000 yearly for a prison to only $18,000 a year for a rehabilitation center is a drastic save, which is another reason why prisons should be reformed to focus on education and rehabilitation rather than imprisonment and punishment. Many have been thinking, how did we get it so wrong? Why is it that something so logical has failed to effectively reduce criminal behavior? Again, for starters, the vast majority of criminal offenders are disordered. James Gilligan, a writer for New York Times, states that about 60% of inmates have at least one mental health problem. 80% have a substance use disorder, and 50 to 60% have had at least one traumatic brain injury. As a society, we must help alienated people by reviving their dignity and giving them the knowledge and skills they need to help themselves. Through education and job training and so much more, these criminals can have the power to control their own lives and contribute to the society. Once they contribute to the society, they will feel a sense of ownership in that society. They will then want to protect the community and uphold its laws. So in short, a criminal with the right rehabilitation can be turned from a menace into one of its most valuable assets. In closing, when a person commits a crime and is caught, they often go to jail or prison. Once in the facility, they are under strict rules about what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. This is the punishment. But when will the rehabilitation take place? We have nothing to lose, and yet still everything to possibly gain. This one call to action can not only affect taxpayers or the government, but can affect the entire criminal justice system. So it is clear to see that prison should be reformed to focus on education and rehabilitation rather than imprisonment and punishment. So let's fight for this for the more generations to come. Are you in? Thank you.